My poet is Dylan Thomas, and Sir Dylan Thomas was born on October 27th, 1914, in Swansea, Wales. Thomas died on November 9th, 1953, in Greenwich Village, New York City. Thomas was a Welsh poet and a writer. Some of his works includes the poems of "Do Not Go Gently into the Night" and "Death Shall Have No Domain." Thomas became widely popular in his lifetime and remained popular after his death at the age of 93 in New York City. In 1931, when Thomas was 16, he left school to become a reporter for the South Wales Daily News. Many of his works appeared in print while he was still a teenager. Just 3 years later, in 1934, the pub- the publicity of "Light Breaks Where No Sun Shines" caught the attention of the literature world. Dylan Thomas works. Dylan Thomas is considered to be one of the greatest Welsh poets of all time. Thomas is largely known for his imaginative use of language and a vivid imagery in his poems. Thomas began writing poems as a child and was publishing his work by his teenage years. Do not go gently into the good night. Thomas uses the nighttime as a metaphor for death, and he wrote this for his father that was willingly accepting his death. Under Milkwood, described by Thomas himself as a play for voices. Under Milkwood takes a form of a hilarious account of a spring day in the fictional Welsh seaside village of Lilliarbor. After watching the play, you learn to inhabit dreams and decipher their love and regret. And death shall has no demise. The title of the poem comes from the St. Paul Epistle to the Romans. The poem is about the power that death does not have over mankind and how men are unfilled after death and not divided. Some of Dylan's most popular poems are "Do Not Go Gently into the Good Night." My bad. "Do Not Go Gently into That Good Night," and "Death Shall Have No Demise." Dylan Thomas Final Tour. Dylan Thomas left Wales on October 9th, 1953 on the first leg of his fourth trip to America. He called his mom to say goodbye. He always felt like he had to get out of this country because of his chest being so bad. Thomas has suffered from chest problems for most part of his life. Throughout, they became earned. So after he moved in May 1949 to the boathouse. Within weeks of moving, he visited a local doctor who prescribed him medicine for both his throat and chest. Oh. Thomas was admitted to the emergency ward at St. Beclair Hospital at 1:58 in the morning. His medical note stated that the impression upon admission was acute damage by the brain by alcohol, from which the patient was treated without remorse. Even though he did not have admitting rights at St. Vincent, the hospital senior specialist was not called to examine Thomas until the afternoon of November 6, some 36 hours after Thomas was admission. To wrap this all up, the main theme of Dylan Thomas's poems were that they were about nostalgia, life, death, and losing innocence.